Hey you guys, it's your girl T. So I want to go ahead and shout out Forever Free Spirit. Her and several people put me onto the Zola story, honey. And unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you guys have all heard by now that Zola's story went viral all over not only Twitter, but Instagram, all over social media in general. So who is Zola? Zola is a chick on Twitter, and basically she put up this story. From what I'm hearing, it's been up for a few months, but for whatever reason, this story went viral yesterday. And basically it's a story about her and a white girl. They end up meeting at Hooters. They start discussing their whole shit and them being dancers and everything else. Then the girl ends up calling her not even a few hours later and invites her down to Ratchet Ass Florida. Of course, this took place in Ratchet, Florida, our first favorite state. So once she gets down to Florida, there's nothing but a bunch of twists, turns, crazy adventures. She ends up pimping the white girl out on back pages. The white girl's boyfriend is bipolar and he's crazy with this huge African pimp slash drug dealer. The story has more twists and turns than The Coldest Winter Ever, which is one of my favorite books by Sister Souljah. But anyways, this story went viral and social media could not stop talking about it. Even Ava DuVernay, the woman who wrote and produced the movie Selma, she's even talking about possibly making this into a film. This whole situation is crazy. I had to clutch my invisible damn pearls reading this entire story. I want you guys to go ahead and check out the tweets, the comments, and what folks had to say, and I'm gonna come back with the rest of my commentary. All right, so you guys just saw all the tweets, the comments, and all the craziness surrounding Zola's story. Now, a lot of people are trying to decide, is this real? Is this fiction? We've since found Jessica, and she's living a happy life. She's a mother of two now, and she's with her boyfriend, and she basically kind of confirmed in not so many words that it's true. She also found a picture of the crazy white boy who was bipolar, and he's moved on and he has a new girlfriend as well. But now grab your teacups, because y'all know Lovelyti always has to dig a little bit deeper and see if there's really some truth to all this foolishness. So somebody sent me this article, honey, that's coming from Tampa, Florida, and supposedly this is the case in which she's talking about, meaning that this case that Zola talked about on Twitter is very much true. So go ahead, grab your teacups, honey, and take a sip. Damn, this tea is good. Go ahead and check out this news story, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
A person is in the hospital after a shooting at the Red Roof Inn on Bush Boulevard. That's right next to two schools, Van Buren Middle and Cahoon Elementary. 10 News reporter Danica Lawrence is there live. Danica, police don't think this was random, but they're looking for the shooter.
Yes, Allison, I just spoke with police. They are still looking for that suspect. They say this all started about 2 hours ago. The clerk here at the Red Roof Inn called 911. She said some people ran into the front of the building saying that someone had been shot. If you take a look at this video, that's the scene on the other side of the hotel. There's crime scene up there. Detectives are on scene, plainclothes detectives. They say this all happened in the back side on the second floor of the Red Roof Inn. There were 2 bullet holes through a window, and detectives are trying to determine whether the shooter shot from outside or inside the building. The victim was shot multiple times. He has a couple of different gunshot wounds in his body. He's been transported to Tampa General Hospital. At this time, he is in surgery, but he is in serious condition. And again, they're still looking for the shooter. They've been looking up in the air and on the ground. We will keep you updated on this story throughout the morning. For now, we're live in Tampa.
All right, so you guys just watched that Ratchet Florida news story. So they're saying that the guy who was shot and injured, he was not killed, but that's the dude that Zola is talking about, and this is a real story, and she's not lying about this. I was trying to find more on the so-called kingpin, the one that was trafficking women. I couldn't find too much information on him, but this whole situation is insane. So a lot of folks want to know my opinion on this story, and while I feel like the story was a good story, it kept me riveted, it kept me attached to my phone as I read through the little tweets and everything else. And I do think that Zola has definitely good writing ability. I do also feel like there's a lot of hype. You know, yes, it's entertaining. Yes, there's fuckery. Yes, there's thoughtism. And as human beings, we love debauchery. We love ratchetness. People like to talk all this shit they want to talk about ratchet shows and ratchet TV like Love and Hip Hop. But when it comes down to it, those shows have high ratings for a reason. Because a lot of times the people who try and act so prim and proper end up living vicariously through these characters. And I think that this is why her story blew up in the way it did. Because a lot of people are interested in that lifestyle, or they're interested in reading about it from the safety of their homes. You know, while it's not Pulitzer Prize winning, and while, you know, people, I do feel like they're kind of overhyping the situation, you know what I'm saying? But I do understand the fascination with the story and why people really like it, you know, but this is nothing new. If you know anything about prostitution, I talked about this on my channel maybe 2 years back. One of my subscribers was prostituting herself. She was doing porn and other things like that. There's a lot of women out here who are doing this. This is nothing new. This is nothing strange. Back pages is very real. You know what I'm saying? Craigslist is very real. A lot of these high class dating sites are very real. You have women who go out to Dubai. Dubai is the new hustle. If you're bad enough, you have a bad enough body, you're beautiful in the face. A lot of dudes are now hitting up girls on Instagram and sending them out to Dubai. You know, that's like the new prostitution spot. That's the new hustle, going out to Dubai and getting pimped out by a lot of guys. So, you know, at the end of the day, sex sells. You know what I'm saying? She's not talking about nothing I've never heard of. I know women who, you know, service on back pages, who brag about it. That's their second hustle. That's how they make their money. You know, and it's not for me to judge anybody. At the end of the day, you have to live your life the way you see fit. You have to tell your story the way you see it told. But it's always funny that one thing I noticed is with black women, when we get caught up in lifestyles like this, with prostitution and stripping, it's hard for us to shake that off. You know, you'll always be known as that thot or that prostitute and things like that. But when white women get caught up in that same lifestyle, they can easily turn their life around and get remarried, have kids, move on, and it's not a big deal. It's not necessarily a stain on their reputation. And I've seen this time and time again with anything negative. I remember watching the HBO show back when I was like in junior high. It was called Gangbanging in Little Rock. And I remember they did like an update special on YouTube with the white gang members. If you guys remember, there was like the one white girl, she was like a white GD, and, you know, she was like a gang member, you know, to the death of her. Well, anyways, fast forward 20 years later, they go find her, and now she's remarried, she's fine. You know, that was just a phase, and she's doing good now for herself. But when you go back to look at all the black kids who were involved in gangbanging in Little Rock, most of them are either dead, in jail, or gone. None of the women are married. None of the black characters were able to just kind of brush it off and say they were going through a phase and, you know, basically pick up the pieces of their life. But all the white characters, for the most part, were okay.
And why did you choose to get beaten and not sexted?
Because to me, sex has got to mean something. And plus, I know that the girls that do get sexted, they ain't looked at as a G, really. There ain't very many people that show her respect. And I wanted the respect and I wanted the love.
It got scary and abusive, and I left. Oh my God, I couldn't go to the grocery store. I actually lost a job because of being recognized so much. And I've been to other states, Alabama, New York, and different places to where people recognize me from being on HBO. That white girl on HBO. Banging in Little Rock. The white girl. I hear that a lot, yeah. You can leave. Just don't tell them where you're going.
You know, and that's one thing I do see with this lifestyle is that a lot of times, I don't care if it's stripping, I don't care if it's prostitution, I don't care if it's escorting. One, black women don't get paid as much. Let's just keep it real. A lot of black women will not make the same amount of money as white women or Latino women or exotic women. They're not going to make as much. And usually, like I said, once they get involved in that type of lifestyle, it's a stain on them. A lot of times, a lot of men would not marry a chick who is prostituting or escorting herself if she's black. You know what I'm saying? But if she's a white girl, it's almost like all is forgiven. We can move on. You know, and I know white girls, you know, growing up who were strippers and everything else, and they went through that so-called phase. And now that they're ready to settle down, they have husbands. And, you know, that was just a phase. But a lot of the black girls that I know who were stripping when I was 16, 17, 18, now we're in our 30s and these girls are still stripping. They moved on to stripping, to escorting, to back pages. So it's a sad cycle. So a lot of people need to know the consequences of getting involved in that lifestyle. You know, yes, it looks glamorous. These girls made $5,000 in a few hours just from sleeping with, 20 guys. It looks glamorous. Once you get beneath that, it's not. You know, and that's the one thing I don't want this to do, is to promote that lifestyle to young girls, and for young girls to think that this is the way to live and this is what they should get involved in. Like I always say, to each its own. I don't judge folks when it comes to stuff like that. Do what you feel that you need to do in life, but there's always better options than that. And this girl's very lucky that she did not end up dead. She's very lucky that if this story is 100% factual, she's not being charged as an accessory to attempted murder or anything else. So I just find this whole situation crazy. The fact that it's viral, the fact that we latch on to this type of salaciousness. You know, the hypocrisy of it is that people will say, oh, well, you need to go to college, you need to get a degree, you need to do this and that. But as a society, we worship and we praise hoism, point blank. You got the Lyra Galores, you got the Amber Roses, you have the Black Chinas. And no matter what people say, like, oh, they're thoughts, they're hoes, they're this and that, they're being passed around the industry, they're also being glamorized by the blogs. You know, and that's one thing that I do conversate with a lot of young girls about who email me. And one thing I always ask them is, how do they deal with this whole social media generation, with the whole everything is right is wrong and everything that's wrong is right? You know, like, what encourages you to go to school? What encourages you to get a better education? What encourages you to do the right thing, as opposed to just getting on Instagram and just showing off your body? You know what I'm saying? India Westbrook did the same thing, and now she's been blessed by BET with the show.
Social media, I honestly spare the moment. If I feel like I just took a bomb ass picture, I'm gonna post it. If I just took 10 bomb ass pictures, I'm gonna post them back to back to back to back to back, and just let it go. I've made racks off using social media for sure. It is super, super easy to find people who are willing to pay for promotion and willing to have a pretty girl promote their brand, because they know that brings people's interest in, oh, that girl's pretty, oh, what she has on, let me see if I can look as good as her in the same thing. I say 5 racks.
But then a girl who's getting good grades and who's doing the right thing, she's not receiving any easy blessings. So, I mean, it's just crazy. I know a lot of writers who write, really good stories and try and make Black people be seen in a positive light, and their writing never sees the light of day. But then somebody else can literally tweet a story that's well written. It's very entertaining, but let's keep it real. It's 100% ratchet. Now you have a producer like Ava, trying to promote this and say that she could even turn this into a movie. You have A-list celebrities like Keke Palmer saying that she wants to go for the role. So it's just kind of crazy. That's why I always say society is nothing but a giant ball of hypocrisy, because we say one thing, but our actions dictate another. So anyways, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. How did you guys feel about Zola's story? Were you buying it? Do you feel like it's a real story? Do you feel like it's fake? And then how do you feel about all this attention that it's getting from mainstream mainstream Hollywood producers, mainstream Hollywood actors? Do you feel like this is a type of story that needs to be told? Or do you feel like, once again, they're embracing the ratchetness, but then in the same breath, they want to condemn it as well? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right, deuces. Hey, you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.